follow the same thorough safety and efficacy standards that the FDA sets for all vaccines in the United States. Since then, millions of people in the United States and around the world have received COVID-19 vaccines, and the results from the U.S. and global safety monitoring efforts are excellent. There are rigorous systems in place to quickly identify any safety concerns and take action. These monitoring systems provide information that allows public health and medical experts to update the recommendations and guidelines as needed to ensure COVID-19 vaccination is safe. When it comes down to it, COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Vaccinations save lives. That's why I chose to be vaccinated and why I recommend COVID-19 vaccination to my patients and my family. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. David Hess. For more information about COVID-19 vaccines or to find a location near you, visit vaccinate.wv.gov.
Hi, I'm Dr. Catherine Moffat. I'm a physician specializing in pediatric infectious diseases at West Virginia University. My patients and their caregivers sometimes ask me if children and adolescents can have side effects from COVID-19 vaccination. There can be side effects, although not everyone has them. The side effects that children 12 and up can experience are similar to those in adults. These tend to be mild to moderate and include soreness, redness, and swelling around the injection site, tiredness, headache, chills, fever, or nausea. These effects usually last only a few days, and kids may experience some or none of them. These side effects can be a sign that the immune system is building up its natural defenses against COVID-19, but many people build protection without these signs. Similar to adults, these effects are more common after the second dose, yet that second dose is essential for maximum protection. Although these side effects can occur, they are short-lived and outweighed by the benefits of being protected through vaccination. Many cases of COVID-19 among children and teens are mild, but even mild cases in children can lead to long-term health problems. I've cared for children with COVID-19. Some of their cases can be quite severe. In fact, COVID-19 was among the 10 most common causes of death in children in 2020. And COVID-19 hospitalization rates among teens increased in the spring of 2021. COVID-19 vaccination is a safe and effective way to protect our kids against the virus. It protects not only the person who's vaccinated, but those around them as well, especially children who cannot yet get vaccinated. This is why I recommend that my patients ages 12 and older get vaccinated, and I encourage patients, parents, and caregivers to discuss COVID-19 vaccination with a healthcare provider. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. Catherine Moffat. For more information about COVID-19 vaccines, or to find a location near you, visit vaccinate.wv.gov.
I'm Dr. Jenny Yost, a physician and women's health specialist in West Virginia. I have experience providing gynecologic care to adolescents and young women for over a decade. Are COVID-19 vaccines safe for people who want to have a baby soon or in the future? The answer is yes. COVID-19 vaccines are safe for people who are pregnant, as well as those who may want to become pregnant anytime in the future. There is no evidence that any vaccine, including COVID-19 vaccines, affects people's ability to get pregnant. In fact, leading women's health associations agree that COVID-19 vaccines do not impact fertility. When you get a COVID-19 vaccine, the process of building immunity occurs in the immune system and does not impact the reproductive system. The COVID-19 vaccines have undergone very rigorous safety monitoring. There is no reason to believe that the COVID-19 vaccines will have any impact on the ability to have a baby in the future. So yes, the vaccine is safe for individuals who want to become pregnant in the future. These are just a few reasons why I recommend COVID-19 vaccination to my patients. People who are pregnant or want to get pregnant in the future can choose to get vaccinated. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. Jenny Yost. For more information about COVID-19 vaccines or to find a vaccination location near you, visit vaccinate.wv.gov.
I'm Dr. Kara Willenberg, a physician and chief of infectious diseases at Marshall Health. You might be wondering, how do COVID mRNA vaccines such as the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines work? First, let's start with the ingredients. The mRNA vaccines are made of sugars, salts, lipids, and mRNA. The mRNA, or messenger RNA, tells our body how to make proteins. The COVID-19 mRNA vaccines teach our cells how to make copies of a spike protein that resembles the spike on the outside of the virus. Once our bodies create that spike protein, our immune systems are able to make antibodies. Antibodies can then recognize the virus if we come into contact with it and fight it off. The mRNA from the vaccine does not enter our cells where DNA is made, so it cannot affect our DNA. The mRNA breaks down and goes away quickly, leaving in its place the blueprint for protection. The COVID-19 vaccines boost our natural defenses against the virus. It takes our bodies about 2 weeks after the second dose of the mRNA vaccine to develop maximum protection. You cannot get COVID-19 from the vaccination. By choosing to get vaccinated, you are teaching your body how to defend itself from COVID-19. Vaccination is the safest path toward building a community of immunity. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kara Willenberg, and I recommend COVID-19 vaccination to my patients, my family, and my friends. For more information about COVID-19 vaccines or to find a vaccination location near you, visit vaccinate.wv.gov.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gilbert Goliath. I'm a pediatrician in Charleston, West Virginia. I've been practicing medicine for over 30 years. The parents and caregivers of my patients often ask if children and adolescents should get vaccinated against COVID-19. My answer is yes. As of June 2021, COVID-19 vaccines are available for individuals 12 years and older, and I recommend COVID-19 vaccination to my patients who are able to receive it. As a pediatrician, I've seen cases of COVID-19 among my patients. Although many cases of COVID-19 among children are mild, some cases can be quite severe. In fact, COVID-19 was among the 10 most common causes of death in children in 2020. And as we learn more about COVID-19, we're finding that even mild cases in children can lead to long-term health problems. COVID-19 vaccination is a safe and effective way to protect our kids against
Hello, everyone. It's Friday, October the 29th, and I know a lot of kids are going to be celebrating and having fun trick-or-treating tomorrow night, and maybe even some tonight, and with Sunday being Halloween. But we just want to caution them to be safe and be careful and have a blast. We want them to have a great time, and as well as all their families. Today, we've got another 110 additional deaths in West Virginia. It's staggering to think about 110 deaths. I read 110 folks, a few days back, and I thought, surely to God above, we'll never have to do that again, from the standpoint of that many folks that we've lost. And I just can't not tell you the magnitude of what we're talking about here. We all knew ever so clearly that once we got into this surge that we wouldn't be able really to turn it around. We would be able to shorten the length by more and more folks getting vaccinated and everything. We could curtail the distance or the time period of this terrible surge. But so many people were already in the spin cycle, and we really couldn't probably do a lot about that. We continue to lose people, and we will continue to lose people for a period of time. You'll see as we go forward here, the number of hospitalized are down, and the number of active cases are down. But for these folks and their great loved ones and families and everything, I ask that you'll please not let them become a number, not let them become just a statistic. Absolutely, these are great West Virginians that we've lost, and I absolutely really demand in every way that you'll give them respect and your love. So bear with me as we go through this, but the 4,317th death is a 72-year-old female from Jackson County. The 4,318th death, a 79-year-old male from Roane County. The 4,319th death, a 91-year-old male from Greenbrier County. The 4,320th death, a 76-year-old female from Harrison County. The 4,321st death, an 84-year-old male from Mineral County. The 4,322nd death, a 61-year-old female from Kanawha County. The 4,323rd death, a 76-year-old female from Hardy County. The 4,324th death, a 75-year-old female from Greenbrier County. The 4,325th death, a 77-year-old female from Hancock County. The 4,326th death, a 46-year-old female from Webster County. The 4,327th death, a 77-year-old female from Ohio County. The 4,328th death, a 74-year-old female from Wood County. The 4,329th death, a 74-year-old male from Harrison County. The 4,330th death, a 72-year-old female from Wood County. The 4,331st death, an 86-year-old male from Randolph County. The 4,332nd death, a 75-year-old female from Jackson County. The 4,333rd death, an 89-year-old male from Ohio County. The 4,334th death, a 63-year-old male from Berkeley County. The 4,335th death, a 55-year-old female from Clay County. The 4,336th death, a 64-year-old female from Mingo County. The 4,337th death, a 55-year-old male from Harrison County. The 4,338th death, a 67-year-old male from Mingo County. The 4,339th death, an 80-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 4,340th death, a 69-year-old male from Preston County. The 4,341st death, an 82-year-old female from Roane County. The 4,342nd death, a 50-year-old female from Kanawha County. The 4,343rd death, an 85-year-old male from Brooke County. The 4,344th death is a 71-year-old female from Harrison County. The 4,345th death, get this, 31-year-old female from Harrison County. The 4,346th death, an 81-year-old female from Fayette County. The 4,347th death, a 51-year-old female from Lewis County. The 4,348th death, a 71-year-old female from Mercer County. The 4,349th death, an 89-year-old female from Upshur County. The 4,350th death is an 84-year-old female from Tucker County. The 4,351st death is a 76-year-old male from Mineral County. The 4,352nd death is a 72-year-old male from Mercer County. The 4,353rd death, a 49-year-old female from Wood County. The 4,354th death, a 50-year-old male from Marshall County. The 4,355th death is an 80-year-old male from Tucker County. The 4,356th death is an 88-year-old female from Tucker County. The 4,357th death is a 69-year-old female from Fayette County. The 4,358th death is a 66-year-old female from Mercer County. The 4,359th death is a 60-year-old female from Mercer County. The 4,360th death is a 51-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 4,361st death is a 43-year-old male from Marion County. The 4,362nd death is a 74-year-old female from Marshall County. The 4,363rd death is a 59-year-old female from Pendleton County. The 4,364th death is a 58-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 4,365th death is a 65-year-old female from Morgan County. We really need to clean this up too. There's 44 additional reconciliation deaths. The 4,366th death is a 90-year-old female from Greenbrier County. The 4,367th death is a 77-year-old male from Braxton County. The 4,368th death is a 54-year-old male from Cabell County. The 4,369th death is a 57-year-old male from Boone County. The 4,370th death is a 72-year-old female from Preston County. The 4,371st death is a 74-year-old male from Harrison County. The 4,372nd death is an 80-year-old female from Wetzel County. The 4,373rd death is a 74-year-old male from Gilmer County. The 4,374th death is a 70-year-old male from Boone County. The 4,375th death, a 42-year-old female from Kanawha County. A 4,376th death is an 82-year-old male from Ohio County. The 4,377th death is a 36-year-old male from Mercer County. Good gracious. The 4,378th death is a 74-year-old male from Hampshire County. I'm sorry, the 4,378th death is a 54-year-old male from Hampshire County. The 4,379th death is a 55-year-old male from Harrison County. The 4,380th death is a 59-year-old female from Upshur County. The 4,381st death is a 77-year-old female from Kanawha County. The 4,382nd death is a 77-year-old female from Lewis County. The 4,383rd death is a 49-year-old male from Monroe County. The 4,384th death is an 85-year-old female from Boone County. The 4,385th death is a 70-year-old male from McDowell County. The 4,386th death is a 69-year-old male from Randolph County. The 4,387th death is a 44-year-old female from Braxton County. The 4,388th death is a 55-year-old female from Ritchie County. The 4,389th death is a 74-year-old male from McDowell County. The 4,390th death is a 42-year-old female from Putnam County. The 4,391st death is an 81-year-old female from Raleigh County. The 4,392nd death is a 66-year-old male from Wetzel County. The 4,393rd death is a 54-year-old female from Marion County. The 4,394th death is a 90-year-old female from Marshall County. The 4,395th death is a 72-year-old male from Tyler County. The 4,396th death is a 72-year-old male from Mason County. The 4,397th death is an 86-year-old female from Gilmer County. The 4,398th death is a 70-year-old female from Nicholas County. The 4,399th death is a 52-year-old male from Upshur County. The 4,400th death in West Virginia is a 74-year-old female from Marshall County. The 4,401st death is a 75-year-old female from Monongalia County. The 4,402nd death is a 51-year-old female from Raleigh County. The 4,403rd death is a 57-year-old female from Jackson County. The 4,404th death is an 82-year-old male from Lincoln County. The 4,405th death is a 75-year-old female from Boone County. The 4,406th death is a 70-year-old male. The 4,406th death is a 70-year-old male from Greenbrier County. The 4,407th death is a 50-year-old male from Logan County. The 4,408th death is a 62-year-old male from Marion County. The 4,409th death is a 68-year-old male from McDowell County. The 4,410th death is a 73-year-old male from Morgan County. The 4,411th death is an 86-year-old female from Monongalia County. The 4,412th death is a good gracious sakes. The 4,412th death is a 21-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 4,413th death is an 89-year-old male from Boone County. The 4,414th death, another 20-something-year-old, a 29-year-old female from Monongalia County. The 4,415th death, a 69-year-old male from Preston County. The 4,416th death, a 74-year-old male from Mineral County. The 4,417th death is a 77-year-old female from Boone County. The 4,418th death is a 78-year-old male from Hancock County. The 4,419th death, a 38-year-old female from Cabell County. The 4,420th death, a 72-year-old female from Morgan County. The 4,421st death, a 64-year-old female from Randolph County. The 4,422nd death, an 80-year-old male from Marion County. The 4,423rd death, a 78-year-old female from Kanawha County. The 4,424th death, an 87-year-old female from Berkeley County. The 4,425th death is a 73-year-old female from Fayette County. The 4,426th death in West Virginia is a 75-year-old male from Berkeley County. Let me just talk to you just 1 second. 92.2% of these people that have died, 92.2% were unvaccinated. You know, you always wonder, and politicians, from DC have led us in so many different directions, it's unbelievable. I've always done one thing, and that's just tell you the truth. I had a discussion yesterday with a gentleman and everything, and he was fully vaccinated, but was really on the fence as to whether or not he should take his booster shot. He said, what's going to happen? And all this information that keeps coming out and everything is so confusing, and politicians are lying and telling all kinds of different stories, and really for the benefit of themselves to try to continue to get reelected and stay in office and on and on and on. And I said to him, good friend, I said, John, you got to listen to me on this, and this is all there is to it. You see, where we're at right now, all we can continue to do is buy time. And that's what the booster is really all about. Those of you that are out there that were fully vaccinated and everything, your immune protection is now depleted. And really and truly, that's exactly what's happened. If you're 6 months out from being fully vaccinated, especially if you're 65 and older, the amount of your protection has probably drifted from 90 or 95% down to 15 to 30%. Now, that's just fact. And so what choice do we really have? The only choice we really got is to go get our booster shot. And it ramps your protection back up to 90. What then is going to happen 6 months from today? To me, there's probably a likelihood that you may continue to have booster shots. And we'll do that, and we'll keep that bridge right with us, and we'll continue to protect our population as best we possibly can until we get to a point in time that this terrible pandemic leaves us. Leaves us by either we come up with a methodology of drug that really takes it away, or it just runs its course and it leaves. There is no other choice. Now, like it or not like it, but the booster is just that. It's just the bridge. Do you remember way back when, that we were wearing masks and we had to have places shut down and everything? And I kept telling you, all we're doing is bridging ourselves to get the vaccine. And then the vaccine came. And lo and behold, we made tremendous progress. We were able to go back to school and have our businesses open. We absolutely have made tremendous progress. We continue to lose people, do we not? Because we do not have a high enough population that is completely vaccinated to really, really slow this thing down. And that's why we come in front of you and tell you over and over and over how important it is that you get vaccinated. But in addition to that, I'm telling you right now the same bridge that I asked for before to give us time to get to the vaccine, the same bridge is available to you today in that booster shot. And if you're 6 months out, with all the different, the different companies now where you can go Moderna, you can go J&J, Pfizer, we can even mix them up, and we know that all that's good to go. Really and truly, you've got to get this bridge. You have got to take advantage of this booster. And absolutely, it will give you some assurance of protection for another period of time. And through that period of time, all the great minds of the world continue to work on any and everything they can work on to solve this problem and to kill it. They'll absolutely come up with a solution to solve it and to kill it. They will do that absolutely for sure. But in the meantime, what we've got to do is continue to try to protect ourselves as best we can until they come up with the solution to solve it. So I would highly encourage you, get that booster shot. Like I said before, our active cases are down to 7,629. We had almost 30,000 about a month ago. We have new cases of 902. We have a daily positivity rate of 7.08. We have a cumulative rate of 6.1. There's 258,000 plus people that have recovered, and we're down to 603 people in the hospital right now. At one time, we had 1,012. We've almost cut it in half. There's 184 people that are in the ICU units. We were just under 300 at one time. There's 117 folks that are still on ventilators, and at one time we were right at 200. I can tell you without any question, as our numbers continue to fall, as sad as it may be, we're going to still lose a bunch more people. And it's a shame. It is a shame because we are in control of this. We're in control. God is absolutely ultimately in control, and we know that. But literally, if we could get ourselves vaccinated, we control our destiny in a great big way here. 7 green counties we have now, and all of them are in the north central part of the state, and we congratulate those folks for the work they're doing there. We have 42 outbreaks in our schools. We have 563 confirmed cases. I'm going to switch channels now with you to something that is an incredible accomplishment, and it just keeps on happening in West Virginia. But from a destination place to visit, from tourism, from all of our dedication to say, we're going to tell our story in West Virginia, are we not? Absolutely, this incredible group that is that comes out with their 2022, top 10 places on the entire globe. I mean, this is not the top 10, between West Virginia and Mississippi or West Virginia and South Carolina. This is the top 10 in the world. And Lonely Planet has just designated West Virginia as one of those top 10 destinations to come to. 200 travel writers, bloggers, publishing partners, and more all shared information on travel destinations for the coming year. Now, can you imagine this really, when it really boils right down to it? Who in the world would have ever thought 5 years ago that we could get to a position to where West Virginia would be telling its story of being one of the top 10 destinations in the world for people to come to? It's unbelievable. I want to say special thanks, to the Lonely Planet team that puts this all together. I love their name, but it's surely got a ton of creativity with it. I want to just say this, that West Virginia has always been just this to me: a world-class destination, 4-season travel destination. And thanks to this announcement, and you can promise this for sure, that there will be many, many, many come to our state. We all know here how great it is. We all know how great our people are. We all know the beauty beyond belief. Just look outdoors. It is unbelievable. And absolutely just talk to your neighbors and just see how welcoming, how loving, how good people in West Virginia truly are. So absolutely, we love it beyond belief. We think that over the years that hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions, will come to West Virginia and share with us in what we know is almost heaven. So all I would say is the world is welcome in West Virginia. We welcome one and all. And so it is a great, great day. And so for Secretary Ruby and all those folks at tourism and all the folks all across West Virginia that are in any and every department, congratulations. Way to go. Good, good, good stuff. Okay, I'm going to go back to this and just give you some announcements again. If you have any kind of symptom at all, that you're not feeling exactly right, whatever it may be, 65 and above, please go get a test. These antibodies are waiting on you, and I can tell you without any doubt that if you go into a crowd of people, you're 65 and older, you're indoors, and with and really, especially if you have a lung issue, heart issue, whatever it may be, diabetes, really consider wearing a mask. Protect yourself right now. The winter's coming, and this thing could linger on and everything. It could be really tough. And the last thing I'll say to you on that is just this. If you're 50, if you're 60, 65 and older, and you get this stuff, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really, really bad. And I don't know how it gets much worse than laying in a bed. You can't even have your loved ones around you because you're so infectious, and you're laying in bed and gasping for air. Gasping for air and don't know really and truly if you're going to wake up, if you happen to doze off and go to sleep. You're gasping for air. You can't breathe. I don't know how it gets any worse than that. I've been through the stuff on the booster shots and everything. There's no point in me going back through all that. All the stuff is available. If we're ready to go to give those shots, and we're all over the place and giving them. And if you by chance lost your card, all you got to do is call us at DHHR and we'll get that back. We're at 67.1% of the 12 and olders that have received at least one shot. The 5 to 11-year-olds are right around the corner, and we're going to be ready to go to give those shots to the younger kids. We're at 83% of the over 50 and olders right now, and 93.8% of over 65 or 65 and older. That's incredible. That is really incredible. And what is it telling us? I've said it over and over. Our wisdom, our 50 and older, our 65 and olders are all screaming out to us and saying, get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated. I mean, they're all telling us exactly that. People that are our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents are absolutely telling us, they're using their wisdom and telling us what we ought to do. From the standpoint of our kids, the great doctors and everything are going to tell us over and over that kids are so apt to get this, and they're so transmitting this, and most all the kids will never know it. Some will end up with side effects the rest of their life, but there are kids now that are getting this that are dying. And we know that it's going to be cold, and we're going to go indoors. We play a high school football game now. We play that high school football game outside, don't we? The next thing we're going to do, we're going to be indoors, and we're going to be playing volleyball, and we're going to be playing basketball and everything else, and it's all going to be indoors, and we're going to have people yelling and screaming and everything else, and without any question, all of your assemblies and everything else, you're not going to have them in the bleachers at the football stadium now. You're going to have them indoors. With all that being said, I would urge our parents to step up right now and get your kids vaccinated. It is the absolute easiest protection that there could possibly be, and to be afraid of the dark and afraid of a lot of these naysayer people that are telling you, oh, they're doing this so the government can track you all across the country and you walk around with a cell phone every day. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard. That's just all there is to it. Now, we still want to be, and I've stood staunch behind this in every way, we want to be respectful of all. We want to stand rock solid about our freedoms. We absolutely, in my opinion, need to have exemptions, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just one second. But we absolutely need to respect medical conditions and religious freedoms always in this country. I'll get to that in just a few minutes. Vaccine eligibility, 12 and above. Young people, please get vaccinated. From the 5 to 11-year-olds, our joint interagency task force is ready to go on that. As soon as the federal government gives us the green light, we'll be going full throttle on that. All the COVID information's up there. I ask our grandfamilies to remember your vouchers, and there's 19,000 kids with those families, and we really need them all vaccinated as well as the grandparents. All the free testing's up. I thank Fruth and I thank Walgreens always for all the great work that they've done. Our long-term care facilities, we have 41 outbreaks. We have 1 outbreak in our church community, 76 inmates, and 34 staff cases that we have now. I tell you over and over about getting the flu vaccine, and you can take it at the same time as your COVID vaccine as well. I've told you about the rental assistance program over and over from the standpoint that if you are a renter and you're struggling with financial needs and everything, or you're a landlord and you're struggling from the standpoint that renters are not paying you, you may be eligible for real dollars, and if you just call us, we'll get it all dialed in and try to make it happen for you and everything. We've still got lots and lots of money in that program to send out. I want to talk to you just 1 second about this. We passed, the law, that basically says, that if you've got a medical exemption or a religious exemption, you absolutely, as of January 22nd and everything, when the new law will take effect and everything, it recognizes those exemptions. I felt like wholeheartedly, and that's why I sent the bill up. And that's, I felt wholeheartedly that we should abide by the Constitution. We should abide by our freedoms. We should respect others for that. I think that I should encourage everybody, because I believe it with all my soul. Everybody, I believe, should try to get vaccinated. But, I'm not in control of everybody. America wasn't founded on those type of beliefs. We were founded on our freedoms of choice and everything. And so with all that, I'm totally respectful in every way for that. And with that, I sent the bill up. We passed it. It goes into effect January of 2022 in just a few months and everything. But with all that now, what's happened right as a follow-up, and they told me this today, but now just think about this. Now I'm going to read this to you. A Washington, D.C. district judge, now just think, a district court in Washington, D.C., probably the most liberal of the liberal of the liberal, from the standpoint in support of the Biden administration and all that's going on, issued a temporary restraining order yesterday that prevents both federal employees and active duty military, from being terminated after they sued the Biden administration over religious exemptions to the COVID-19 vaccine. This is exactly what I did, exactly how I feel and everything. So this, at the district level, it will probably be appealed, but it proves that our bill to enforce vaccine exemptions was the right move. Now I'm going on to something really good too. Brad Smith, Brad Smith, a guy that, started his company, Intuit, and it worked so hard, had successes beyond belief, has agreed and basically become one of the candidates to be the new president of Marshall University. And yesterday he was unanimously, I think the vote was unanimous, he was unanimously chosen. His alma mater, he's coming back to. And I know he'll do unbelievable stuff, and it's another exciting time in West Virginia, an exciting time for the Thundering Herd. And I congratulate Brad. I congratulate all those folks at Marshall that turned the keys and everything to make all this happen and everything. And I really do believe that we've experienced some goodness at Marshall, but now we're on the way to greatness, and that's really, really great stuff. So Brad, congratulations. Very, very, very happy for you. Happy absolutely for West Virginia, and happy, from the standpoint of I share in that as my alma mater, and as well as Jill and Kathy both. But we've got, I really believe this with all in me. There's certain places that you owe your whole life to in many ways, and Marshall's sure one of them in my book. Dr. Gupta, is confirmed and is the first, he is the first medical doctor to ever lead the White House National Drug Control Policy. The first medical doctor. Should have been that long ago. He served as West Virginia's chief health officer from 2015 to 2018. I congratulate Dr. Gupta. This is big time appointment, for a great West Virginian. 50th anniversary today for Pratt Whitney of Canada, and they're part of the business unit of Pratt Whitney themselves, and the Pratt Whitney, Engines and Services Incorporated is located in Bridgeport. There they employ from, they employ just right at 400 people. They're pumping out between 500 and 600 engines every year. It is amazing beyond belief. If you've not been to see what's going on right there in that community at Bridgeport and everything, with the airport and everything, and all the folks that are there, there is a big time shining star to North Central Airport in West Virginia. That it's called the North Central West Virginia Airport, and I very, very proudly, made a big move and a bold move to support there, but for crying out loud, it was the right move. Now, right move wholeheartedly. I mean, they are doing great stuff there, and more people are coming. Mitsubishi, and just on and on and on and on. But 50 years, we congratulate Pratt Whitney Canada. So congratulations and thank you so much for sharing, a big piece of you with us in West Virginia. Just another, another announcement from the standpoint of the Trout Stocking program in West Virginia. The fall stocking, I think, started last week. We stocked fish in the Guyandotte River on Wednesday. The Guyandotte River, hadn't had stockings that I don't guess had ever happened in the Guyandotte River. It is so beautiful, it's unbelievable. And I congratulate all the mining industry because they've cleaned up so much. That river is pristine beyond belief and beautiful, and the waters are absolutely just terrific. You've got some waters that are coming in from the deep mine, history within the area. That the temperature in the waters is just great. You talk about a fishery that will be absolutely unbelievable. That will be it. So we were able to put some fish in there, and the first fish that went in there, They let me fish for just a second, and some way, somehow, I caught a fish, which was pretty dadgum good, on a little fly rod that I used to use long time ago, and what a great day. Now, you know, do we want to go? All right, we want to do this now. Okay, this is good stuff. You know, Halloween is just a couple days away, and there'll be a lot of trick-or-treating that'll start to happen tonight, and there's a beautiful young kid, you know, 13 years old. He's a student right up on the hill at the John Adams Middle School, and he's vaccinated, and he got vaccinated really and truly. I mean, he said he got vaccinated for baby dog. He has, without question, in my book, the greatest Halloween costume that you could ever pick. And I only say that in jest because, you know, come on up here, Governor, and talk to us. This is Jameson Marble. How you do, sir? Good to see you, Governor. See you. Sit down right over there and talk to us. And Jameson, or Governor, I see you got baby dog with you. I see you got Crocs on that I wore for a good little while when I had my foot all blown out. And I see you got your hair, you know, looking a lot like mine. I understand you had to use 2 cans of white hairspray, and I said, well, I do the same thing every morning. But can you talk to us and give us any wisdom from the standpoint of being our governor? Just scoot right over to the microphone, and you just take over from here, okay? And don't be shy. Just, you know, you can say anything you want to here and everything. And believe me, from my standpoint, I want you to know this. First of all, I love you for getting vaccinated. That's all, and I mean that. I really do. The other thing is, in this journey, and I told you this earlier, you know, the good Lord gave you the ability to smile and to laugh. And really and truly, if you can't tease about yourself and smile and laugh, then I don't think you're much of a person. And you know, I mean, I saw your stuff. It was posted. Somebody posted it on social media and everything. We picked it up on it. We invited you and everything. And so you got to put baby dog up there where you can see her. I mean, you know, I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, baby dog doesn't like to be hiding behind a table. But if you got any words of wisdom, you got the microphone.
The only thing I have to say, get vaccinated for baby dog.
Oh, that's really good. Really good. Here's a 13-year-old. A 13-year-old that is a leader, that is going to lead us in many ways. And I love big kids, you know, that's for sure. And he's a big guy. You know, for a 13-year-old, he's a really big guy. And, you know, when I was 13, you know, Jameson, really and truly, I was really, really skinny, and I had brown hair. So maybe you've got something really good to look forward to. Maybe you'll go in the reverse of the way that I went, you know. But nevertheless, you're a beautiful young man, and I'm really proud of you. And that's all I got for today.
All right. Well, thank you, Governor. And let's now go to Dr. Clay Marsh, our coronavirus czar.
Good morning. In reinforcing a couple of the messages that the governor mentioned, it is really important for people, particularly those that are older, to very quickly get your booster shot if you haven't yet. When we look at our own data and look at national data, it is clear that the majority of vaccine breakthrough cases and vaccine breakthrough deaths are in our older population. And we know that, as the governor said, the potency of the vaccines does wane for all 3 vaccines. And so getting booster shots is very, very important. Another important message for any woman who is pregnant or who is trying to become pregnant or is just delivered their baby, the vaccines are not only safe, but they're really important because about 1 out of 5 unvaccinated women who gets COVID will have either premature labor, where they will need to deliver their baby or threaten to deliver their baby at a very early gestation time that the baby is in the womb, and or have complications with the pregnancy. So we know that there's a hesitancy, and we have seen that here in West Virginia, including seeing some pregnant women who developed COVID during their pregnancy who died of COVID-19. And so it's really important that pregnant women also get vaccinated and boosted if you are eligible for booster. The last thing I'll say is that we know that the Centers for Disease Control will meet on November 2nd, and we anticipate that they will also give the thumbs up for the Pfizer vaccine at 10 micrograms, which is a third of the dose of the adult vaccine for 5 to 11-year-old children. In a recent poll by the Kaiser Foundation, they projected that only about a quarter of parents nationally were committed to vaccinating their children. And it's important to note here in West Virginia that we see a large number of 5 to 11-year-olds come up with new cases throughout this Delta surge. So it is really important for parents also to very, I hope, positively look at the eligibility, which we anticipate will happen next week for your 5 to 11-year-old. And remember, although most 5 to 11-year-olds who would contract COVID-19 would not die of COVID-19 or be hospitalized, but the risk, very small though it may be, of that happening, plus the risk of long-term consequences with COVID-19 via this unusual multi-system inflammatory syndrome, which occurs mostly in children about a month after the virus impacts children, or long COVID, which can happen after the initial infection, are both two problems that we want to prevent in our youth. In addition, as we look at creating more firewalls to stop the spread of COVID-19, as we're seeing reductions happen now, in order to ensure that we don't have new surges, then having those children protected and vaccinated is very important too, as we talked about before, because we know they can become infected and spread COVID-19 as well as adults, but are oftentimes less symptomatic, so harder to detect. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Marsh. Next, we'll go to retired Major General Jim Hoyer, the director of our Joint Interagency Task Force.
Good morning. Just a couple of points to reinforce. First, a couple of updates. We are, as the governor pointed out, we will be ready, and we are ready for when the approval comes for the kids age 5 to 11. A lot of work has been done to be prepared for that activity. Second, an update on nursing homes. In discussion with the folks this morning, it looks like by the end of next week, we will be complete on nursing homes. We still have a couple of facilities that are working their residents and staff. And then to reinforce a couple of points that the governor and Dr. Marsh made, while we have 603 in the hospital, and that's down from over 1,000, we have to look at the data and understand that we still have a significant portion of those people in ICU. And we know that 83% of those deaths that occur in ICU are unvaccinated, or those in ICU are unvaccinated, 83%, and on ventilators, 87%. And as the governor pointed out, 92.2% of the deaths since we have been vaccinating West Virginians come from the unvaccinated. And in that remaining percentage, as Dr. Marsh points out, Dr. Amjad, those are folks who are older and have multiple comorbidities. So again, reinforce, we've got to get West Virginians vaccinated overall, and we've got to get booster shots in. We did have a good week this week with 0.9%, almost a full percentage change in the eligible age population, but we have much more to do. And last thing I would leave you with, having had the opportunity since coming to West Virginia University, I've had an opportunity to work with Brad Smith, and I just want to congratulate Brad and Marshall, and we look forward to working with Brad. He really does love West Virginia and wants to come back and do great things for this state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is Secretary Bill Crouch with the DHHR.
Let me also congratulate Dr. Gupta for his confirmation. As the governor said, Dr. Gupta was here for several years, beginning when I came in 2017. I got to know Dr. Gupta. He started the Office of Drug Control Policy in West Virginia. He's done great things for the state, and I fully expect great things for the country as well. So congratulations, Dr. Gupta. Want to mention we added some additional information to the dashboard. This is in the same location as the information on deaths by month. It is in other trends, and it is at case and lab trends. I think Jordan's going to show that on the screen. The information that we added on deaths by month was very revealing, and we decided to add cases by month. If you look at, there are now 2 yellow tabs on that page, and if you click the top one, it provides information on average age of cases by month. The trend is clear. Governor reads names every day that seem to get younger and younger with regard to deaths. The number of cases also is clearly trending downward. So, and as we keep talking about, this is a vaccination issue. People must get vaccinated to keep these numbers down and keep themselves safe and their families safe. So, again, we appreciate all of the suggestions we get with regard to the dashboard. It helps very much. So thank you all.
Thank you, Secretary. Next to Dr. Ainam Jadar, State Health Officer.
Good morning. I just want to add about the Halloween weekend to remind children if you're not feeling well, if you have a little sniffle or any colds, to maybe not go out and be around other kids, but to definitely still continue to wash your hands with soap and water, but to definitely enjoy Halloween. It is one of my favorite times of the year as well, to get as much candy as possible. But if you're not feeling well, we still have testing events around the state that are free, but to go out and have fun with your friends and family, but just to remember to wash your hands or use the hand gels as much as possible as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. I wanted to follow up with General Hoyer about what you said about our nursing home booster shots. So now that we've gone back around and offered the Moderna booster shots to the 75+% of folks that got Moderna, do you know about what percentage of our nursing home population decided to take the first shot, and how many are left over now that we're near the end of that effort? Thank you.
General, please.
Yes, sir, Governor. Charles, I don't have the exact percentages, but I know from discussions with Marty Wright at the Healthcare Association that they are having significant percentages, just like we've had with our over 65 and over 50 population. But I'll try to get you some numbers on Monday as to the actual percentage of those who have received a dose, who have taken the booster dose. But I think it's going to be exceptionally high.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next, we'll go to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good afternoon, Governor and everyone. Let me give a shout out to Marshall as well, and congratulations to Brad Smith. By the way, the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at Marshall holds its Hall of Fame induction ceremony tonight. 10 graduates will be inducted, and that is a communications and journalism school second to none in this country. So congrats to all. I know our friend Kenny Bass is already in the Hall of Fame there. My question today is this. I know the governor was talking about the numbers being low. They kind of bottomed out last week in a lot of categories, and now they're slowly creeping back up. We have 902 new cases today, whereas just 5 days ago there were 600 cases. It seems to be creeping up by about 100 a day. The same for the active cases. It was down to 7,300 earlier this week, was the lowest it had done since August, and now it is inching back up every day by another 100. I'm not suggesting we're having a surge, but what might be responsible for this uptick? And are you folks concerned that we might be leading into another surge?
Dr. Marsh, please, if you would.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Mark. So we know that in West Virginia, like we see in the rest of the country and in many parts of the world, the Delta variant is a much more persistent variant than we've experienced before. It's very highly contagious and transmissible. So I think that, Mark, what you're alluding to is probably a couple-fold. One is that we know that there still are reconciliation issues that we see with reporting and getting it into the electronic record. So that may be part of it. But we've also noted that the reproductive value, the transmission value around the state has slowly reduced, but it is slower now than it was. So we know that there's still transmission of the Delta variant, and that's the reason why we're so persistent in imploring people to get vaccinated. People that are vaccinated have a 40% reduced risk of getting COVID-19, even in the face of the Delta variant across all people vaccinated in our country. We also know that the booster vaccine is very important, because if you're 6 months out from your first vaccine, then you are susceptible to getting infected. And we also suggest very enthusiastically that if you're going into a situation where you feel at risk, please wear a mask and use the smarts that you have to avoid being infected. But I think that that's a combination, but we are really happy to report, as the governor said, that the severe cases, the hospitalizations, are definitely on a downswing, which is good. And although we know deaths are the last thing to come back down again, we are very optimistic that we will start to see that lowering of the number of names the governor has to read every press brief. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mark. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, I just end by saying this, that, every day that goes by, we find, we hope and pray at least, that we're getting better and better and better. We really want to push, harder and harder every day that more and more folks will be vaccinated, especially our kids. And with that, like I said, tonight and tomorrow night, I'm sure, there'll be a lot of little kids out trick-or-treating. And we want them to have a wonderful time, and as well as their families in every way. I ask really, especially, for us to really watch driving. Really, really watch those little fellas and little girls as they are out just having a good time and probably not a worry in their head, and we want it to be that way. But they'll be all over the roads, and we got to really watch. Really, we don't need a tragedy beyond belief. And things have been tough enough the way it is. So let them enjoy, and I wish them the very best, and I ask that you'll be super safe and watch those little rascals as they're around everywhere, and hope that they'll have a wonderful, wonderful time. And before I close out, I'm going to pass back to our other governor that's with us today, and Jameson is going to close this whole thing. And like I said, we all want to smile, we want to laugh a little bit. It's tough enough. Journey's tough enough. So, Governor Marvel, how about closing out for us?
In every way, shape, form, and fashion, get vaccinated.
Great job. Great job. There's a young kid on his way in life. Good job, sir. All right, let's close at that, and God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Got some wonderful parents with us today, too.